All right, so you're all excited. There's a big condo development that's caught your eye. You've made your down payment, your deposit rather, and the project's going to go ahead, you assume, and then things drag on and drag on and drag on, and all of a sudden, boom, there's no building. There's not even a hole in the ground. This has been happening across the GTA several times. There's a number of projects that have made the news. The latest one is something that was supposed to build Danforth Square at 250 Danforth Road. Form Development Group, which was previously known as Time Development Group, had planned 279 units starting at $179,000. Now, the company's in receivership, and people are scratching their heads. And a lot of people are saying this is a case of maybe buyer beware, but you know what? What guarantee do you have when you put down that deposit that you will actually get the condo you desire? Denise Lash, founder of Lash Condo Law, is here to talk us through that. Hi, Denise.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm glad I didn't invest in this project. But for the homeowners or the prospective ones who have, what's going to happen to them and their money?
Yeah, well, see, this is part of the problem, and there is always a risk when you're buying something that's not built and you're buying it from plans. So the pre-construction condominium. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, we have Carry-On, which does warrant condominium deposits that are paid up to $20,000.
Let me ask you, who runs for our listeners, what is Carry-On exactly? Who runs it? Where
it is a warranty program. It is funded essentially by condo developers, and all developers that are selling residential projects, brand new, and conversions now, must register before they can market their condominium projects. And they have security, they post security with Carry-On that will protect condominium purchasers from, protect their deposits. And it does cover certain deficiencies as well. So there is protection out there, but for somebody buying a brand new condo, it will protect your deposits up to $20,000. If you've paid more than $20,000, then the Condominium Act requires that there be excess deposit insurance if the lawyer releases those deposits. So the deposits are essentially protected. Mm-hmm. However, if these purchasers bought these units 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whenever they signed their agreement of purchase and sale, if they get their deposit money back now, that doesn't really help them if they want to buy a condo now, because they would have lost that appreciation.
Right. It's the opportunity cost to me here that's the most significant thing. Many people say, including some prospective purchasers of these condos, they're now priced out of the market. Is there any responsibility for that?
No, there isn't. And you have to understand that, and this is why I tell people when they're buying it, there is a risk that make sure you're buying from a reputable developer. But then again, there's no guarantee. So here is a circumstance where a developer just couldn't build it. It's not, the developer didn't intentionally do this. So they cannot afford to go forward on the project.
Right. Now, this developer, I had not heard of them. There are tons of developers around, though, and I just did for the show, I looked to see how often has this come up, what kind of, companies have been involved. And there are some developers you might think would be very reputable, like Gupta Group, which built that huge tower, or is building one at the corner of Yonge and Bloor, for example. You see them all over town. They also canceled the development in Vaughan. So can you really rely on the reputation of the builder, or do you have to do more due diligence?
I'm not sure, what other due diligence would you do? I think the first step is make sure it's a reputable developer who's done a series of projects and find out about those projects. But you're right. There can be a circumstance in which a developer intends to proceed, and then there becomes all kinds of issues, complications, maybe from the city, that increases the cost and the financing. The developer can't afford, to carry it those number of years, because originally when you anticipate something, you don't anticipate there may be another 2 years of delays.
Right.
So it can happen. So I say, if you're going to buy a condo and you're buying pre-construction, just be aware that this could happen.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What kind of delays what kind of factors can contribute? Because this is the argument that condo developers will say is that, we didn't get approvals or this or that or zoning. I mean, what actually can a condo developer sell without having those things? I mean, what steps do they usually have to go through, and where can things go wrong?
Well, there's a requirement to attach to the agreement of purchase and sale the carry-on schedule, and those schedules will say when a developer can terminate. So they will be conditional upon obtaining zoning. There will be conditions in the agreement, so it's really important when you're buying your condominium to get it reviewed. And this is something I always tell people is, they're concerned about costs and they just don't want to spend the money on getting a lawyer to go through this and review it with them. This can protect them and save them money down in the long run. Mm-hmm. So, this in the agreement itself and those carry-on schedules, it will say they may need to get other kinds of approvals, site plan approval. And then sometimes things come up, like there may be quirky things, like maybe there's an arrangement with the city that certain things have to be provided. I was dealing more recently with a developer on the Conservation Authority that has a park where the developer has to worry about maintaining it. And so there were all these issues. That delayed the project for about a year and a half. So it's something that I'm not sure as a purchaser that you'll be able to find out, but at least you'll know that there is the risk that it could be delayed.
Okay, now risk, of course, is counterbalanced by reward, which is why a lot of people get into pre-construction. They say it's cheaper. Is that still the case in our current housing market?
Well, yeah, we do find when you buy pre-construction and you hang on to it for 4 years, then when you intend to sell it, you generally you do well. That's not the case in every instance. But that's why people tend to buy pre-construction. They also like having the brand new amenities, brand new unit. But that's sometimes when you're buying from floor plans, it doesn't always look like you expect it to look. It's really difficult to anticipate what will happen in the end on a project.
Okay, well, listen, lots of food for thought and good advice there. Buyer beware at the end of the day. Get that lawyer, read the fine print. Denise Lash, founder of Lash Condo Law. I want to thank you so much for giving us this guidance today.
It was a pleasure.
And it is a case of buyer beware. I had a friend of mine who had bought a condo. She actually never lived in it because the floor plans changed twice by the time that it would have even been built. So she backed out of the deal because she just said, you know what, this isn't what I signed up for. But developers do have a lot of power to do that. So definitely be careful whenever you get into an agreement for a pre-construction condo.